Are you tired of mowing down entire fields in the direction you aim at? Are you tired of just hitting your spells? Boy, do I have the build for you. It's the Wind Druid. It will leave you surprised and amazed. Just look at those nados go all the way out, far and away from anything you're trying to hit. Big monster on the screen, doesn't matter. Bigger monster on the screen, doesn't matter. Diablo, who cares? We're not hitting anything. And this is the Wind Druid. If you want one as well, you can create yours today. So to build your own overpowered Wind Druid, you need to start off as a Fire Druid, because NATO is a big boy spell and comes at the later levels. You want to start your build by just casually first trying an entire stealth of the counters. Another good strategy is to find tons of good items, so that by the time you hit Ontario, you are pretty stacked. Because I found a unique buckler, I found a set buckler, I had to choose my shields. But if you find something else, if you can find like Bloodfist or something, that's very powerful. And I also wanted to show off how ridiculously overpowered the Fire Druid is in Act 1 normal. So here's the Players 8 Ontario fight, and as you can tell, we are just mopping the floor with her. Then in Act 2 we had just one chilling moment before we head towards Duriel, where we wave goodbye to ASAP before dousing everything in flames and killing Duriel. Be careful though, all kidding aside, because Duriel normal is probably the hardest fight in this entire game for this build. Then just bowl over some spiders to become even more stacked, because we are finding some Bloodfists. 40 lives is really nice. And with that we are heading to Akara, because we have hit level 26. And that's pretty late to reskill. Want to reskill, you want to do it between level 18 and beating Bale Hell. One thing I do really like is using fire to get through the jungle, because that has way better AoE, so it's a lot easier to get through the jungle. But you can definitely do it earlier than I did. Then for stats I went strength for gear, no dexterity and a bit of energy. The guides always say like, no, don't do energy, energy makes you a noob. Who gives a shit if people think you're a noob? It's very comfortable to have some energy. It's just the difference between being able to hit 2 or 3 tornadoes before you need to mana pot up or hitting 4 or 5. It's just so much nicer to play. But don't go put in like 100 points, just buy pots at that point, just go for lots of mana pots. Then for the main damaging skills we have Tornado and Hurricane, and your main defensive skills are Cyclone Armor and Heart of the Oak. And as always, just mix and match to your taste. So basically, if you feel like you have enough damage but you're a bit squishy, put more points into Oak, put more points into Cyclone Armor. If you're thinking like, okay, things are never ever dying, put more points into the damaging skills. Just put some points into Tornado, and after all of that, just get into the synergies. So one thing you want to do is keep upgrading your gear, and one of the easiest and safest upgrades you can get is an Ancient Splat. You can just buy a Kite Shield in Act 2. But it will take a bit to get used to the, yeah, let's call this a special way the tornadoes move. I mean, I get it flavor wise, it's a tornado, it's supposed to be going everywhere and flying off the handle. But for gameplay it's a choice. The best way I have found to actually hit things to go stand straight in their face. And with all of that resist, we head into the Diablo fight, where the giant demon from hell that leaves hatred, destruction and terror in its wake apparently still isn't worth it to shoot straight. I mean, it's almost like this character is just far-sighted or near-sighted or something. And as usual, dodge the lightning, dodge the fire, make sure your resists are in order. Diablo hits really hard. And with Diablo gone, you can just obliterate the rest of normal. The rest of normal is really easy. So here is me showing off the gear that I did normal with. For normal I usually don't really focus on gear, like I like to wear gear, but it doesn't really matter. If you are looking for something, look for plus skills, you can find them on the Druid helms if you're lucky. I didn't end up finding those. You can also go for resists and health. And once you are ready to head into Nightmare, we are going to be going to the counters for a Spirit and a Lore and an Insight. So we need a Talthal Ort and we need Realte, Tal Salt and an Ort and a Salt. So the best thing you can do is just farm it in 2 runs like I did. It's just nice. But to be fair, it'll probably take more runs. Like 4 or 5 is very reasonable. And the leveling inside the tower is also perfectly fine. You can get up to like level 40 there without too many problems. So for your bases for these rune woods, you want a 4-socket sword. It can be a broad, long or crystal sword, and you can find them in the cow level, or you can just find a random one in Nightmare. And same goes for the polearm that you want for the inside. An ethereal 4-socket partisan with an insight in it is just good enough to clear hell. Like, you will not have to worry about your mercenary gear at all anymore at that point. Well, his weapon at least. After that, when you are comfortable with it, go into Nightmare and you'll find that pretty much you're blazing through. Because this is one of the better builds in the game. This is the best Druid build in the game by far. Like, it's not even close. The only real problems that you'll find in Nightmare is that sometimes you just run into a physical immune, but you have Hurricane to deal with that, because Hurricane is cold damage. You can very easily tell that the Druid and the Assassin are balanced around a lot of destruction. They both all have reasonable builds that all will do very well, and a Wind Druid is just the best of the bunch for the Druid. The one thing that you really need to look out for though is dolls. You have consistent all the time AoE going on, and they will blow up in your face and you will die from it if you're not careful. And once you're through the Durance, you can just easily go and kill Mephisto. Then for the Hellforge we get a Fel rune, which doesn't really do anything for us. Fel is kind of like a melee rune. You can get Obedience and stuff, and Hellum Fall, Lionheart. But those are all rune words for melee characters, so that's not really for us. Then for the Diablo fight, you can just get up close to him and he should die easily. And after that, just clear Nightmare. You're one of the best builds in the game, just plow through it. The only part that you really need to take care of is making sure that your gear is in order, because Hell gives you minus 100 resist all, and you can make it minus 70 by doing the Anya quest 3 times. But you're gonna need more than that, so I ended up crafting an amulet that was almost really cool, because it's +1 paladin, but if it was +1 druid it would have been amazing. And just like a normal in Nightmare, you can end up going for terror zones if you want the items and just some variety in the spice of life. If you actually want to go just for the levels and just want to be as quick as possible, you can do either Bale runs, but I'm not big on Bales. I think Bales are pretty damn boring, to be honest. And you can also go for Player's 8 Pindle skin, which in my experience is just the best way to do it. And I end up finding a Natalia helm in there as well. It has a ton of stats and a bunch of resistances, so I end up using that over the lore. And on level 66 I felt fine to go into Hell. It's a bit late for me, but it's still fine. And this is the gear and the skills that I did it with. Then for Hell, be very careful. It's not called Hell because it's all fluffy and easy. It can get very spicy. And one of the tips I can give you is to make sure that you drink antidotes before you fight Andariel, and don't forget your mercenary, give him some as well. After Act 1 I end up heading towards Act 2, where I go for the Claw Viper Temple first. I usually just go in the order that I find them, so if I find the Claw Viper Temple first, I'm doing that first. If I find the Maggot Lair first, I'm doing that first. In the Claw Viper Temple I end up finding an amulet, and I'm hoping it's a Mauras or something with a plus skill. It ends up being an Atmos Scarab, which is just once again a melee item. It has amplified damage trigger, which is insane on a melee character. But alas, I am not a melee character. The rest of Act 2 is just a massive patience check. You need to use Hurricane to get through the physical immunes in the Maggot Lair. You can save scum a bunch to make sure there aren't very many. And if you get a very bad map, just reset the map as well. Don't be afraid of save scumming. Some people are like, oh my god, you can't save scum. Oh no, but do whatever the hell you please. It's a 20-year-old video game. I give no shits how you play. As long as you're having fun, I'm cool. Like, you could cheat your ass off in this game and I wouldn't give a shit. But don't be afraid to save scum. If you encounter like 3 boss packs of physical immune stuff, just reset, who cares. So after doing that a few times, I end up in the Tall Rusher's tomb, where I do a bit more save scumming. And then just, yeah, walk through, except for this one room that had a bunch of things reviving each other because of Champion and Revelers and a boss pack of them. So that one room took forever, but the rest of it was all very fine. And the act bosses in Hell are just way easier than the level, so Duriel just dies pretty quickly. I also have 2200 HP at this point in the game, so I can just face tank everything. And after that it's Travancore time. The Wind Druid is just a very okay Travancore runner, like nothing great, nothing bad, but it's just very middle of the pack, but he can definitely blow through it. Get it, get it, get it. Then at the council I end up finding a key, but I decided to kill the council first because not dying is way more important than identifying a gate. It ends up being a 99, 26, 11 gate. Then for the Durans, just the same tip as on my map, be very careful about your AoE because the dolls will die and they will explode and you will die with them. And the rest of the Durans is just all fine, just walk up to stuff and kill it. You have so much HP that you'll be absolutely fine. Oh, one little tip that I can give as well, use your Heart of the Oak as a distraction for things, so make sure that you use it to lure some stuff away. So basically you want your Heart of the Oak to tank some stuff, but it has very low HP, but it can distract some stuff. Your Mercenary can tank some stuff because he's very tanky with Heart of the Oak. And that way you can split up the monsters a bit so you don't get surrounded and stuff. And in Act 4 we are reminded why we have lightning resist, because we encounter some souls. And they will absolutely murder you if your resists aren't good. I mean, look at this, it even got spicy at 2250 HP. Like, that's a lot of HP for the game to blow away from you. After that I find a Paul rune, which is another rune that I can't really do anything with in this run. And the Hellforge got us another Fel rune, so now I have 2 Fel runes and a Paul rune. I'm like, can I do anything with that? And the answer is kind of not really. For the Chaos Sanctuary it can be very spicy, but with this being one of the best builds in the game, you can just make your way through. Like, you shouldn't have too many problems here. And once again, Diablo, walk up to him, shoot him. Then, because I'm in Act 5 hell anyway, I end up putting a Thor rune in the Natalia helmet to make sure my resists were good. Because Act 5 can be really fucking spicy. Like, Act 5 can be insanely dangerous. Because at one point I end up barely making it past a bunch of might archers, skeleton archers. But I decide that I'm petty enough to go back and they need to die. So I end up going back and killing them. But please don't do that if you're just risk averse. I was just like so annoyed that they almost killed me that I was like, I'm gonna kill all of you assholes. But it's not good gameplay, it's just me being spiteful. And after that I end up just resetting the ancients till I have a really nice and easy spawn to clean them up with. Which brings us to the Worldstone Keep, and oh my god, what the hell is happening here? There are so many Death Lords. Champion Death Lords, Cursed Death Lord, Boss Bag. I just ended up leaving the game, running away. Like, I cannot deal with that, there's no way. And after that I end up needing to do just a little bit more of saves coming to make it to the Worldstone Keep again, but dear lord, can the Worldstone Keep be spicy. And after making it into the throne room, there's a bunch of annoying stuff that actually gets quite dangerous, and if you have the skill points to spare for this situation, you can use one of the vines to eat the corpses to prevent them from reviving each other. And after a few more misses against Bill, we end up clearing the game. So this is a final rundown of my gear, my stats and my skills. And there we have it, another Guardian. Thank you for watching, see you in the next one, bye bye.